Sometimes along the way, it behoves us all to sit down and reflect on what we're faced with, be that in terms of our own personal situations, our interpersonal relationships, family, friends, associates, our financial positions, to give some examples. Then there's the broader picture or perspective of the world in which we live. Whether we agree or not, whether we like it or not, we are fundamentally active participants in the age and the era of our existence. Each of us, in his or her own small but inimitable way, contributes to the world today. Of course, this is not to suggest we are wholly or even partially responsible for the miscreant or even the evil behaviour of countries and people around the world, but we do have an obligation as thinking, intelligent human beings to stand up for what we believe is right and condemn what we believe is wrong. How far and to what extent should we take our convictions? Should we respect the inviolable right of everyone to be able to express their views and live their lives with dignity? Does the use of violence when campaigning for your chosen cause or promoting your line of thinking or beliefs, religious or otherwise, betray an inherent or fundamental weakness in the truth or essence of your message? Does the need to physically harm or damage another person in some way elevate the strength and potency or truth of your opinion, belief, or cause? Is violence an obvious consequence of failing to convert others to your point of view? To coerce someone into siding with you is not to win them over. That's a false belief, a flawed outcome in anyone's estimation. You're losing the battle, not winning it. And ultimately, in the unstoppable passage of time, you will not succeed. Possibly in the short term, yes. You don't truly accept the validity of physical coercion, do you? If your calm and well-reasoned discourses, your convincing arguments, and your life-changing messages fail to convince others, then what do you hope to achieve by torturing, maiming, killing these others? Surely such low-level exhibitions of intelligence serve to lessen the impact of your message. I'm sure there are many books written about past and present dictators' psychological states of mind, and it might be interesting to read some of these. Many of you may have already done so, and thus have a much better understanding than I have at this moment. But I cannot help thinking that these despotic destructors have significant personality disorders and psychological flaws, possibly stemming from their childhoods, almost certainly stemming from their childhoods. Are they scared little boys masquerading as powerful thugs? Are they perhaps just a little too far past the tipping point along the sliding scale of madness that even a full frontal lobotomy wouldn't calm the farm inside their heads? Will we ever know? We live in the world knowing that every day there are others out to harm us, unfortunately. Are we an excessively angry, vexatious, vicious, violent species with no hope of ever existing peacefully side by side? Or are we inherently peace-loving, with a small minority of people obsessed with another less admirable agenda focused on carnage and chaos toward and amongst the rest of us? Are we to conclude on reflection, then, that the only way to continue to protect the inviolable right of the species to peaceful enjoyment of life is to weed out, when and where required, the dictators and tyrants? There's more than one way to skin a cat, as the saying goes, and killing a nasty, murderous leader, as we have seen currently in Iran, doesn't immediately solve the problem, however. A replacement pops up quickly. Is the answer education? Perhaps, but I have my doubts. Look at the mindless half-wits populating the universities of the world at present, and even more frightening, the academics pushing particularly harmful ideologies. We've seen it all. Young people are so impressionable, it seems, and they always have been, I suppose. We're all guilty of being swayed in a certain direction as young people and then realizing later the folly of our ways. Do we then just keep on keeping on and embrace the maxim that might and muscle will prevail, certainly in the short term? The millions of deaths that result in wars every century are simply the collateral damage of ultimately getting to the point where countries and peoples are suitably subjugated and treaties are signed, so that the world can continue to spin on its axis. There's a lot of wisdom, kindness, and immense intelligent benevolence out there, but there's also a frightening plethora of stupidity, hate, anger, and rage hanging over our collective heads like the darkest of storm clouds. I leave you with this to reflect on.